Have you ever seen the beautiful, colorful coral reefs and wanted to visit them? Well, they are getting destroyed right beneath your eyes. Coral reefs hold thousands of marine species and is a tourist attraction for many people. Without these reefs, there will be a rippling ecosystem collapse in the oceans. I have been to the United States Virgin Islands and saw how beautiful the environment truly is, and I want to do all I can in order to help. So this is also a lei that we got when we were there that we just wore around the pools and stuff. So I just wanted to show you that to you guys. And according to the IVM.com, a research website funded by the Coral Reefs Conservation Program, the Virgin Islands coral reefs are worth around $202 million annually. These reefs are so significant and need to be saved, which brings me right into why the U.S. Virgin Islands needs our help. I will discuss the benefits of coral reefs, causes of coral death, endangered species, and some recommendations we can take. So some benefits of coral reefs. According to the Institute of Environmental Studies, local residents are strongly connected to the reef and therefore have a high willingness to contribute to its conservation. Locals have the following primary bonds with the marine environment of the United States Virgin Islands. Swimming is one of the most popular recreational activities. 77% of the residents state that they occasionally go swimming in the sea. Of all respondents interviewed in the survey, 34% of snorkel and 10% interviewed in the survey scuba dive. According to 20% of the households involved in the recreational fishing. The survey also addressed the main concerns people have about the marine environment. Personal health concerns ranked high, with residents especially worried about poor water quality and clarity. Therefore, residents saw proper sewage treatment as a form of coral reef preservation and a high priority as seen in the graph above. So next we're going to talk about some tourism. The Virgin Islands is advertised as America's Caribbean paradise. A stay on the islands is considered by many as nothing short of true bliss. Each year, around 2.4 million visitors come to the United States Virgin Islands, a prime reason being the beautiful beaches and coral reefs, considered to the tourism sector, accounting for 80% of the Virgin Islands' GDP. It is easy to understand that ensuring proper management of coral reefs is not only vital for an environmental perspective, but also from an economic point of view. The study showed that cruise ships generate $35 million annually as a result of reef-related activities, while stayover tourists generate $68 million as a result of reef-related activities each year, bringing the annual total of coral reef resources to tourists to $103 million. The study also found that without a healthy marine environment, many visitors would be hesitant to return to the United States Virgin Islands for future holidays. Half of the tourists indicate that they would not return to the United States Virgin Islands if the marine environment degrades further. Loss of these visitors and these associated ecosystems would be led to substantial economic losses for both directly and indirectly involved in the United States Virgin Islands tourist industry and the territory as a whole. So next we're going to talk about fisheries. Healthy United States Virgin Islands coral reef ecosystems support local fisheries by providing nursery, forage, and resident habitat for these fish. Losses in quality of habitat negatively affect fish numbers. Reef fish has been and still are an important part of the weekly diet in the United States Virgin Islands. The survey revealed that 75% of households in the Virgin Islands consume locally grown fish. 75% of the households consume fish each week. The number of households in the survey that are involved in the recreational fishing is approximately 20%. Recreational fishing is not only economically important but also culturally important. Sharing fish with family and friends and enjoying the ocean is significant in their culture. So some causes of coral reef death. Dust from Africa. According to the NOAA Coral Reef Watch Program, hundreds of millions of tons of mineral dust are transported thousands of miles through the atmosphere from the Sahara all the way to the Caribbean and to the Americas. The pathogenic strain of the fungus known causes sea fan disease, and mortality of sea fans throughout the Caribbean region was isolated from samples collected in the United States Virgin Islands during African dust conditions, but not from non-dust periods. So another cause is overfishing. The coral reefs are ultimately affected in the end. As much fun as fishing is, it also is a decline in the variation of species of fish. Such losses often have a ripple effect, not just on coral reef ecosystems themselves, but also on the local economies that depend on them. So next we're going to talk about some endangered reef species. 7 species listed as threatened under Endangered Species Act were observed on reefs in St. Thomas and St. John's in 2017, including some of the most well-known corals such as Palmata, the Abyssella, and the annulus. Reef fish are also endangered. These are several types of reef fish that are endangered, which include the butterfly fish, the melonfish, and the falva. So some recommendations that don't fish near reefs. The biggest issue with fishing near coral reefs is that when they throw their nets out, they drag along the bottom of the ocean and break a lot of coral off. Also, when fish species are overfished, they will impact their marine habitat and populations of other species because the ecosystems have been pushed off balance. We can stop overfishing by limiting our catch, create more marine protected areas, preserve the endemic species, eat the small fish, and avoid the large fish. Wear proper sunscreen is another big issue. According to JohnnyJet.com, a credible travel website, certain sunscreens contain chemicals including benzone that can give coral a lethal virus. Look for natural sunscreens that use titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, instead of chemical blocks like oxybenzone that can cause coral bleaching. Also, we need to dispose of our trash. Recycle and dispose of trash properly. Marine debris can be harmful to coral reefs. Recycle your trash at home and on the go, especially plastic, and remember the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. When disposing of trash, do it properly in bins to avoid being blown or washed away into the oceans. Trash such as plastic bags, bottles, and discarded fishing gear that makes its way into the oceans can snag onto corals and block the sunlight, creating a loss of photosynthesis, or entangle and kill reef organisms and break or damage the corals. So coral reefs are beautiful, diverse, protective, and biologically rich ecosystems. Reefs are home to more than a quarter of all marine species and to people around the world, and hold cultural and spiritual significance for many coastal societies. Coral reefs attract divers, snorkelers, and beachgoers. Also generate pharmaceutical compounds that hold and generate millions of dollars from AIDS and cancer, and help a lot with society. A threat to coral reefs is a threat to a human society.